Hello, welcome back to Magic Study. Wow, my brain forgot which book we were on. That one, this one, the prettiness. I could have taken up so many editions, but I limited myself to
Just
one.
surround yourself with editions of Majesty.
Yeah, if I was downstairs, that would be doable, but right now I do not have the energy to take them up the stairs or back down. How floppy is that edition, though?
So,
It's so pretty. So we obviously were slightly later, and I apologize mostly because I had no brain power, and personal stuff kept happening for both Andy and I suck, and I forgot to make the live show, so it's my fault that it was latchy. But we are here, we made it, we both read it.
the live show would have been earlier in the month if Andy would have stayed at hospital.
Yeah, but then we both had stuff going on, and then just when I thought I had energy, car crash happened and I forgot.
Literally.
And literally, yeah, I know. Normally I say my life is a car crash, but genuinely had an accident.
Someone crashed into her car.
Yeah. So to be honest, I have like zero energy just on the offset of the meds I have to take for pain. But I am so excited about this book that you're going to get a really sleepy, like, overreaction, I feel. So I apologize for the very weird vibes that this live show might give. Um, but if it's no surprise to any of you, I love this series. So with very little um extra brain power needed, I can talk about the series till I'm blue in the face. So we are here. Um, to answer this before we go further, yes, I am. I just have like whiplash and like muscle pain, but it's fine. Doctors have checked me out. I'm good. My brain's just slightly more dulled than normal, which could be fun. It could be fun. But Andy, Magic Study. I know you'd already read it because we're obviously on the first trilogy, so you have read these already. But did it live up to you on reread? What did you rate it?
I see. It's funny because I liked it more and I liked it less in some ways when I
Okay.
read it because I liked it more because I had more of a handle on what was going on, which let me sort of take in more this time. But by
Yeah.
doing that, the characters that I didn't like annoyed me more, and the
Especially
characters
one which we will get to.
and it will, and the characters that I did like were not there enough.
I could probably guess about 3 characters that pissed you off and 3 characters that you wanted more of.
Yeah, probably.
At least 2 on the piss you off side and at least 2 on the I want more of. But that's fine. Did you rate it?
I think it's a solid 4 stars. Yeah,
Okay.
4.5.
I can cope with that.
Because I
Like,
think
I am not one of those people that needs all of my favorite books to be like 5 stars or I disinherit people. Um the fact that you're doing the read along with me and that you will continue to is grand.
it was just I spent like the first half of the book. I was like a moody teenager. The whole like
I
first
can
half of the
I
book.
can confirm.
Like just imagine me reading this book and the whole like we will be going into spoilers. If you're here and you've not read it, this is your warning. Either leave
Yeah.
or watch it. The entire first half of the book, I spent the entire time going, "Where's Valak? Where's Valak? Where's Valak?" And so I couldn't give it 5 stars because there was no Valak.
I mean, to be fair,
Why?
you see when I first read this book, hold on. I feel like I need to give this some time. Um such a mess. Like, hi. What did you rate it? Because you also read it for the first time. Rated 5 stars. Hi. Again, as Andy says, we are talking about this book. If you have not read it, I do not want to spoil you please read it and then watch it. um, yes, I can agree that you definitely were going, where is he? But when I read it for the first time, I remember thinking that we weren't going to get any Valak, just because obviously they've left Ixia, they've gone Sitya. Like, I remember thinking, okay, this is going to be like a book without him. What the fuck's going on? Like, where is he? So the fact that there was Valak was better when I read it the
Mhm.
first time.
I
Um,
know obviously study of magic like is
I'm
from
so
his
excited. After we
point
do
of
this, I
view.
can read it. I have it downstairs and I have not read it yet.
If it was like a dual POV situation, it would probably be a 5 star.
Yeah,
But he is one of my like he has
if not your favorite.
become one of my favorite
Mm,
characters. Like on
no, you
reread,
love the Power Twins.
yeah, I love the Power Twins. But on reread, like I really like him as a character, and I can't wait to read from his point of view because I feel like he's a lot more of an in-depth character than we get to see from
Yeah,
Yelena's point of view. And so him not being there just feels like there's a gap. Story wise, I feel like story wise, this book is better than like it doesn't suffer. I don't feel like it suffers from the second book slump.
no, I don't think it does either.
But my complaint is there's not enough Valak.
Which is fair. Um, Vicky gave it 5 stars. Loved it. So this is Vicky's first time through. She'd only ever read Poison Study before.
Yeah,
Hattie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's your first time reading everything. And Andy, obviously you've read the first three
yeah.
already.
Literally,
Um,
when he said they didn't check the ceiling for spiders, I felt a sense of relief. Just like finally.
there we go. There we go. Also, I hate
Like
that though
there we go.
because
Now I can start enjoying the book.
I'm an arachnophobe. So like that every time I read that bit, I then have to check the ceiling for actual spiders and I don't like it. But it's fine because I know it's not that, but like it gets me every time. I quite
Mhm.
enjoyed not having Valak, and as Tori said, I wasn't expecting him at all, so that was a fun wee surprise.
See,
It
but I
firework.
knew it's like the first time I ever went to see Wicked. I couldn't enjoy it because I sat there the entire time going, like, when are we doing Defying Gravity?
Yeah, to be fair, I had something similar to that with seeing that, because I'd heard enough of the music. So yeah, I do totally get that, especially when you know that there's now a study of set coming, so Valak doesn't go anywhere. Um, sorry, itchy ear. But also just before we go further, because I have to show it off. Look at Yelena, isn't she so pretty? Also, really jealous of her hair. Like, how does she get her
Mhm.
hair that long? Um,
No,
anyway,
Andy has no patience.
I know, silly
I've
woman.
I've also been like so heavily reading romance recently that I'm just like
Gimme. I love this. Yeah. Andy wants it now.
like
Not slow burn.
don't replace a male character that I've gotten invested in with a whiny little bitch that I have no patience
So
for.
I, in the opposite of Andy, started reading this. I was in a bit of a slump, and I started reading this literally right at the end of the month when I was going to see Vicky and Andy, Pia, Bobby, etc. And I was driving to Andy's, and I started listening to the audiobook. And before I was even out of my city, I was almost crying because I had never read the audiobook and we got introduced to her family. And I'd completely forgotten how close to the start of the book her meeting the family was, because in my head we still had to trek. And I'd forgotten that Maria doesn't actually make you do that journey, like you start further in. How do you like her parents and the whole introduction to the Zaltana clan?
I love that. Like, I would have loved to spend more time like
How cool
exploring
is it?
the Zaltana lands or treetops. Like,
Treetops, I know. It's like
and
being a
like
big kid, honestly.
Nutty, I love her dad, I love her mom, like I love the family. Like, other than Leaf, I would push him
Off a
off
tree.
one of the branches. I have like he went like I don't think I can forgive him. I like there he is probably irredeemable for me.
Okay.
Like, I am so mad at him. Like, by the end of it, like, I was actually quite annoyed that I did feel kind of like some redemption for him by the end of it. Like, right at the end,
I could
with the
totally
whole bit with
imagine you
Moon
being
Man.
angry at yourself.
But, like, I just feel like someone needs to beat his ass before I can forgive him. Like, I know
I
she
mean,
got a
there's
few
Ari and
good swings
Janko.
in,
Let's face it. There's still time. There's time.
but like,
Um,
it's just,
I think I messaged you guys saying I was crying on holiday when I read about her meeting her family. Yeah. Um, it was when she met her dad for me. But yeah, Nutty is such a cool character. Like her cousin is so cool. And the fact they go to the um market and then ask for cloth and it goes back to her cousin. But what I will say, and I think I said it to you when I was with you, that I'd forgotten that like her name is uh Yelena
Leanna.
Liana Zoltana, and I'd forgotten that the Liana part was like the family name,
Mhm,
and then the Zoltana was a clan name. Like I know that she goes by the whole thing anyway, but I'd
mhm.
forgotten that that was specifically said. Not that it makes much of a difference overall. It was just such a
Are
small
you,
thing.
are you Yelena Zoltana? Yelena Leanna Zoltana.
I'm
I'm Yelena.
Yelena. Honestly, I just, eh, I just love it
Like,
so much.
what part of kidnapped when I was 4 years old and raised in an orphanage with no knowledge of who I was, only to return at the age of 19, are you quite not understanding?
I little, I don't know. But yeah, I have a lot of a lot of feelings about her meeting her mum and the fact her mum hasn't left the treetops in 16 years and then is like, I'm coming, and then she's just sitting crying in her bed because she can't make herself leave. Like,
I do. I also love the fact that her dad's just like, yeah, sure, like off you go. Like, he doesn't try and talk her out of it. He doesn't try and talk her into it. He just lets her be.
and
He's just
then
like,
he's
we'll do it when
just,
she's ready.
yeah, and I love that Yelena was like, where'd mum go? And he's like, oh yeah, you'll find her through there. And then it was just like, okay. But the fact that I have a lot of time for her mum. It
Poor
made me
woman's
very sad
traumatized.
very quickly and very emotional.
As also, but like, that's part of the reason I just can't go over Leaf having such a stick up his ass. Like, there's that, like, the whole community, like, everybody in that community seems to have like such a community feel. Like, they're so, like, it's such a tight knit community. And then there's this little asshole who is so me. Like, I could maybe get, like, I don't know.
So
I
I've
just,
just double checked because obviously audiobook. We only spend 60 pages in the jungle before we leave because Leaf gets called back to the Citadel. And
doesn't he?
obviously, well, and on the way there, we get introduced to Cahill. So very quickly, Andy realised I don't have Valak and I've got two whiny assholes who I want to stick on a cactus, to quote her.
Yeah. He is such
Um,
a whiny, like, honestly, like, he is such a nice guy. Like, so she, like, like, what the, like, oh,
sorry.
honestly, like, what a whiny little, like, can't handle getting his ass handed to him. Like, what,
Andy's basically summing up my feelings on Leaf.
yeah.
Gonna guess she's gonna sum them up about Cahill. Yes, that's how you spell it. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for the fact, he's been raised as the missing, like, king or whatever. Fine, fair. If that's how you've been raised, grand. But
But
the
that's
fact that
not a
you think
leader.
you're
That's a
all that,
stroppy little toddler.
oh no, 100%. The fact that you think that you can beat everyone, but yet your guards haven't actually been teaching you properly, because Yelena, who's been training for less than a year, can beat you.
And
Like,
this is why
this is not how you win. This is not how you train properly. I bet Ari and Janko would have a field day if they could get their hands on him.
I mean, they did when they
I know, but like,
I like hop, skip,
constantly.
and jumping to the end of Cahill's story. Like, if we're just going character art, like, I can't remember if it was Valak or if it was Arya or Janko or whoever it was, but I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate that this was put into the book, and I deeply, deeply appreciate the character that was like, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is the nephew of the king. This is the nephew of the king. Blood relation nephew of the king. Right, okay. The king who was extremely powerful magician. That king. Whole bloodline, extremely powerful magician. That king. Right, okay. Why don't you have any magical ability? And Gahil must have looked like his face must have looked like a slapped arse. Like, that's when the penny drops. For
I
Gahil,
also
that
love
like, no
that.
matter what anybody else said, that is the moment the penny dropped, and he was like, "Oh, right, okay."
I also love that at one point, I'm sure it was Yelena who was like, "Valak didn't kill you. Valak didn't kill you. Are
Valak made a mistake. No, 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 no.
are we sure?" Um,
Also, there's absolutely no way. Like, there's no way. Also, the scene where she's like, she's. I need to find it. You like.
me talk.
I
Okay.
messaged it. A voice note
Oh,
where she's like talking about the horse and she's talking about Kyle, and he's like, Valak's like, "What's his name?" And she's like, "Her name is Kiki," and he's like, "No, no, not the horse." Because she's immediately like, the only person worth talking about right now is the horse.
yep.
Which,
By the
obviously, because
way,
Kiki.
also, right. So I put a message in Discord way back when. Also, I realized yesterday, this is how shit my brain's been, that I didn't put up the questions for this. I will do them and fire study tonight. And if anybody needs help because you've read it, come back to me because it's fine. Um, but yeah, I put in the Discord way back when that I can't wait for the animal companions. And my animal companion that I was on about was Kiki, who, honest to God, is one of the best characters in this series for me. And if anybody tells me that the horses are not like people, I know they're not people, but like they have personalities, they are properly listed as characters, I will cry.
I just love it when Cahill's getting mad at Yelena because he's a little bitch. And Kiki's like, "I kick him?" And Yelena's like, "Not yet." And she's like, "I'll kick him though." And she's like, "I know you will."
Literally, Kiki is you in horse form, and I can just
No,
imagine
because I would have kicked him.
you would have kicked him already. Well, that's fair.
It would have
Um,
waited till the conversation was over, and just as he's like turned around to walk away, I would have given a little.
so in this one, obviously, we find out that she can talk to horses, and that not everybody can talk to horses. So we obviously have Kiki, who becomes her horse. There's Rusalka, who's Leaf's horse, etc., etc., and we slowly get added more and more. But what we find out in this one is that the very first time a horse meets someone, they name them. Basically the same as we name animals, but they name humans, which I always loved. And we find out that obviously her one is Lavender Lady because of the perfume and the soap that she always uses, which is lavender, Peppermint Man, Ghost for Valak, etc. Did you have a favorite name that one of the horses named someone?
Yes,
Which one?
thank you. I think we know.
I mean,
Yeah,
literally that's why I'm asking, because they might not know.
yeah. It has to be Janko,
Rabbit?
Rabbit Man,
Rabbit Man.
because then he gets because they also never change the names. Once
Yep.
you're named, and first he was Rabbit Man, And then it was rabbit. And she's like, "What, there's rabbits here?" And she's like, no, rabbit. And he's like, "What do you mean rabbits? Rabbit? You mean rabbit man? Too fast to be man." He's like, "No, we changed it because he's far too fast to be a man." Like,
I love
I did not pick up on that the first time I read it, which is why I love reading things. Because I love the fact that they were like, "Oh my god, he's so fast. We're going to call him Rabbit Man because he's so fast." And then they were like, "Damn, he's too fast to be a man. We're just going to call him he's Rabbit. Like, we're just going to call him Rabbit because he's far too fast to be like he's
I
not
love it
human."
so much.
And Ghost, like, even they know that he's like. But like
I
Peppermint
love
Man,
it so
she's
much.
a little bit. I love the fact that Kiki like Kiki's just like, let's rob him of his peppermints, and it's like, let's just kick him and rob him of his peppermints.
I just love it so
Let's
much.
mug him for his peppermints. I wonder,
Um,
does it tell you what they call the Sable Master? I'd be interested to see what they call him.
I don't think so. But I will double check because in one of the later books it gives you, I think, a list, if I remember right. I'll double check. I'm just thinking I should really have that book up here when we do these because it gives you so much information at the start. I can't think what they call Ari, and it's bugging me.
Strongman? No.
Strongman. I think so. Yeah. I was just about to say what Tori said, then realised what Andy said was true. She wouldn't have held back, aka you would have kicked him.
I would have let her finish the conversation with him, but I still would have
It'd be
kicked him.
nice. I love that so much. Vicky, Hattie, did you have favourite names before we move on / continue this bit? But I am very excited for you guys to get to continue seeing the horses because they just have they're so good. I love them so much. I'm all giddy over the horses now. I wish.
I also like this book was like, I totally forgot how much happens in this book. Like, it doesn't seem like a lot should happen, but so much happens.
I mean, mine's big, like mine's huge text, so like don't think about how thick this is.
Yeah.
In this book we also have her start to do her lessons with Iris.
Yeah.
Once she gets to the keep. And obviously there are some people who are not so happy with the fact that she's gone straight to apprentice level, considering she hasn't done her time, I believe they called it, and like done her years, etc. But we meet Dax. Is it Dax Greenblade?
Yeah.
Please tell me it's Dax and I haven't just mucked up his name.
No, I think you're right, it's Dax.
Who was studying with Bane. I really should actually write down notes. That would probably help me. What do you think of him? Did you like him? And oh god,
I love Dax. I think he's great. He is like the absolute polar opposite of Cahill. Like, you've got Cahill, yeah, Dax. Like, Dax is, he sees this this female magician who is more powerful than him, despite the fact that she is relatively new to her power, relatively new to everything that's going on, and he doesn't see her as an adversary. He sees her as like just another person. He's just like, I mean, the only thing, like, him and what's the girl's name?
I'll see if I can find it.
Like, yeah, at first when they see her and think that she might be competition, like that she might be getting their place as Bane's Tula. No, Tula's the older sister.
Tula's the sister.
They might be getting thingy over for like her. They're like, oh, like, what's going to happen to us? And when they find out that, oh no, she's Iris's mentee, they're like, oh, okay. And like,
cool, let's go.
Like, they're just like, oh, cool. Like, he jokes with her. He's friends with her. He never treats her like an adversary. He never tries to he never tries
Shit.
to do anything untoward. He just, like, that's how I
It
wish
should
people would just be.
be.
Like, it's not even like Valak, because like Valak does kind of see her, he does see her as an adversary at some point, because obviously that's his job. Like, she is a criminal, he is her jailer, that is the point. Ari and Janko are a bit more wary of her. Like, he is the first person that I think could truly, he is the first person that truly just sees her as a friend. Like, he is the first person that truly treats her as a friend would, because he's the first
Yeah,
person that has no skin in the
background.
game.
Yeah, I think because they don't really have like, she hasn't killed anybody that he knows. I don't even know if he knows she was in jail, like that kind of thing. Um, I genuinely
He's
like him.
not,
I have no idea. I genuinely couldn't even remember
he's
what
not
had
interested in
happened.
her. Like, he's not interested in her as, like, he's not trying to, like, get in her pants like Cahill is. He's not trying, he's not interested in one upping her. He's not jealous of her. He, like, he's not even necessarily interested in being her friend. Like, he's not trying to do anything to be interested in being her friend. He's just like chilling. Like, he's so neutral. It's actually quite refreshing to have a character like that. He's kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Um, it's really bugging me that I can't find her name. Um,
And he also doesn't ever
I bet
need
you I'll
anything
find
from
it.
her. Like, he's also one of the
Oh,
characters that doesn't need anything or want anything from her.
I've just found Kiki's name for Cahill, and I'd forgotten that it was Main Boy.
Mean
Kick,
boy.
kick Mean Boy, push Mean Boy. Don't like Mean Boy. I'd forgotten that. That was funny. Why can I not find? Also, right, it doesn't matter. I'll find it when I open the book next, probably on the first page. Let's face it. Um, I love that they changed his name to Rabbit, but my favorite is Ghost because even the horses can see how easily Valak can just appear. Yeah, I genuinely love the names. In this one, before we move on to the sisters, because obviously they are a huge part of this book, we meet a little beggar. Well, we meet a lot of beggars the first time Yelena goes into the Citadel. And she has no idea what the fuck's going on. Like, obviously in Ixia, yes, everybody has a job and everybody has to work and everybody has a uniform and stuff, but to her, everybody has a job, they get money, they get their clothes, they get necessities, and there isn't anybody that lives on the streets. Everybody is cared for. And obviously, as they enter the Citadel, the beggars all start swarming her, which are all kids. They're all far too young to be on the streets. And both Leaf, Cahill, etc., are all telling her to ignore these kids. She does not. She gives them money. And then they obviously re-find her. We are introduced to Fisk. I love Fisk. Fisk is potentially my favorite character that we meet in this book that we haven't already met. He's obviously had some shit going on. I love that Yelena is like, actually, you help me, I'll give you money. And then if you turn up clean tomorrow, you'll get more money. And you can help me find my way around. And then slowly you see all of the other kids slowly getting a bit cleaner and they're a bit like more savvy. They're getting more help. They're like paying for things. And it's so interesting to me because obviously I've only read a few of them, like the earlier ones a few times. Sorry, the later ones a few times, and I hadn't realized how far back Fisk was introduced. Obviously not seeing anything for further books, but I'd forgotten that he was in this one. I thought he came in the next one.
But it just shows as well, like, how intelligent Yelena actually is. Like, she realizes that actually the people that you want, the people that you need in situations like this, are the people that other people don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like nobody pays attention to, even when they're mounting their rescue in the end, like not in the like to get between the through the wards, nobody pays attention to, like, even he doesn't pay attention to beggar children.
Yep.
You know,
I
nobody pays attention to these people that are around all the time, and that's which is hilarious because that is exactly how Valak intervened with Iris
Yep.
in the first book, because Yelena didn't
He acted
recognize him
as a
because he was
beggar.
dressed up as a drunk. Well, not a beggar because they don't have beggars, but as
Yeah.
a drunk, like as somebody who you would,
With a tankard and everything.
yeah, you would pass over because, like, she took that in. Like, you can tell how intelligent the character is, and a lot of people are probably going to like pass over that point, that it shows her thought, like our thought process and our intelligence, but also like Fisk's level, like Fisk's intelligence. He's realized that he can bankroll this, and it also shows his level of emotional intelligence and his thoughtfulness, because he could have taken all that money for himself and just like not shared it for all, like, because like you say, it's more and more and more of the children get involved, and he's done that. Like, he's gone and he's decided to look after those children. He's decided to get them in on this, to get them like in on the idea of helping people to carry and shop and like do all that thing, and
And even bartering. Like, I'm sure at one point
yeah,
it says that they're literally bartering for people so that they can get like the best of the best at the best price and stuff. And I love it so much. I love that at one point, I'm pretty sure as they get in, Cahill's like, get away from them. Like, they're baggers. They'll do nothing but steal. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, what is this? And he's like, everybody knows what this is. And she's like, I don't. Like, you may think that the commander has done the worst thing possible by killing your family. And I get that. But we don't have this in Ixia. Like, everybody has a job. Everybody's
he's looked
fed. We
after.
all
Yeah.
get like our basics. We're all looked after. And
And
I'm
then he
just
has
like,
the audacity to whinge about the fact that it's coming out of his money.
yeah, which it's
Oh,
not,
your
by
people
the
are being
way.
looked after from your money. What a concept.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember
surely
it
you as
being
the
like
ruler
some
would want,
was it
like,
not like something about it coming out of the king's like the king's coffers or the
coffers.
king's
Yeah. It's like,
money,
oh, what
like the
a
treasury
concept.
or something.
The treasury's being emptied to look after the people rather than just literal money sitting in, like, all right, Scrooge McDuck, like, go dive in your friggin' money piles, like, while your people starve. Like,
Oh, I need
that's
to see if Dima will draw that. I love that. That is so
what
funny.
Cahill is Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's the best thing ever.
this is part of what I love about the way that Maria has written it as well. Like, it shows how it kind of shows to me how she thinks of it as well, because like the people who are normally treated as better are the ones that are actually shown in poor light, rather than
Yeah,
the ones who, like, because the people you would treat, so like I said in the magic study, in the poison study thing, the natural villain of the story should be the commander, and the commander isn't really a villain because he's looking after everybody.
yeah. But also,
um,
you could say that like Yelena and Valak both have like villain-like qualities because Assassin has like a murderer, but none of them are really shown in that light because maybe Valak,
yeah,
depending on who he's killing. But
yeah,
in general, like we're not here for that. We love them.
and
We
like
keep them close.
but yeah, like the great magician leaders of Sitia are like, even who, the one that I would argue is probably the best of them, which is the one that she works with, the one that gives all the clothes and stuff. I can't remember her name.
Not Rose.
She can
Zelzalana?
also sit in the cactus.
Zelana?
Like, she is probably the best of them. She is soft hearted. She, like, her heart bleeds for her people that are suffering. But what does she do about it? She sits there and she
Very little.
hurts for them. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry that my people are dying and suffering. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. We're just, like, but they're the good guys. Like, you've got children in the street that are starving and you're doing nothing to remedy it.
This is Alana, right?
I can't remember. Her, though, I don't know if anybody in the comments has read Gideon. But there's a character in Gideon that reminds me of her so much.
Zatora.
Zatora, yeah.
I knew it was a Z. I was like, this is too close to her last name. Like, I think I've got names muddled. We get introduced to sisters in this one. Tula, Opal.
We don't really see the third sister.
Mara?
She's mentioned, but
we don't see Mara, but
Mara, no.
She's mentioned. We don't see her. But obviously we do get to see quite a lot of Tula, and then Opal obviously helps right at the end. But she's there for quite a lot of it. I know we don't really. It's weird because Tula's obviously more of the character than Opal is, but because she's the one that's injured, she's the one that's in bed. They're obviously fighting over helping her. But we meet more of Opal than we do.
Next book.
Yeah. Do you have any? Because you haven't read further than the next book.
No.
So, without spoil, can you do spoil? I don't know if we can do spoilers when you've already. Everybody in the comments, does anybody have any thoughts about what's going to happen in the next book? Because I don't want to spoil anything with comments. As I said, did you have any comments for future? But that needs to be after the next book when you do not know anything. Because I can't do it
for Opal's book. So,
well, I was going to say in general, but I don't want to spoil Fire Study before we've read it.
Yeah, because obviously, like the glass books are Opal as the main character.
Yes.
We switched to Opal as our point of view. Is it multi POV or is it just one POV?
No, just one.
But we get like the fire study does lead up. We will get more of Opal as a character. It's not again. It's still Yelena's point of view, but Opal is in it more. So obviously this is setting up so we get to meet Opal in this through Tula being a victim of Ferdy, which we don't get to see a resolution to in Magic City.
No, and I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, so had I. I again completely had forgotten about his sister.
I've literally gone right to the back of the book. I think this is.
Do you know what she needs to start doing, Yelena? She needs to start poisoning her switchblade. Why Valak hasn't suggested that, I don't know. Also, can we take a moment to we'll do the sisters and then we need to talk about Valak.
Yes.
But yeah, Tula, on the one hand, I don't know how like when we were reading Poison Study, normally I don't struggle with like scenes like that in books. Like normally it doesn't bother me, but I did have a bit of a struggle reading Poison Study this time round. And again with like Magic Study, I feel like she kind of took the foot off the pedal a little bit with the scenes for Tula. Like I feel like she could have gone a lot like more into detail, and I'm glad she didn't, because it probably couldn't have read that again. But I love the messaging that she sort of vehicled through Tula, because obviously she went through a lot of trauma when she was with Ferdy. Is it Ferdy or Ferd, or how is it pronounced in the audiobook?
Ferdy, I believe.
Ferdy. She goes through a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse, and even in like it's not that long a period of time. Like she's not held for the longest period of time.
It's like a week or something, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks or something. And it can't be more than a month because he has to like the ritual takes like a full moon cycle, and
I think it was like 10 days by the time they got her back, I think.
something like it, yeah,
Yeah.
and
I should probably really take notes.
and obviously they have to go, and that's why she needs Opal, because she needs to go in and find her. This soul finder part of her needs to go in and fight through the demons and get Tula to fight it with Opal's help, and fight that shame and fight that all of that, and even leave some of it behind, because it's never going to be a one and done idea.
No.
But it really hammered home, not even hammered home, but it really looked at the issues that survivors have, especially in the conditions where, like she said, she let him do these things to her. She didn't fight like she thinks she should have fought, but like Yelena said, at the end of the day, she could have fought tooth and nail, and at the end of the day, he still would have got what he wanted. He still would have done it. He still would have,
Yeah.
like, he was in a position of power in a way that she was never going to be able to overpower him. And what she did was her best to mitigate how much trauma she suffered.
Yep.
And
And to
there is
survive it.
exactly, and
Like,
there is
if she'd
absolutely
fought,
nothing shameful about that.
absolutely none. I do love how, not necessarily she writes about trauma, because I know like she changed the way that she was writing slightly when the books got picked up more by YAs. So you'll notice the first two are published adult, and then after that they're not even published in adult. So like the first two got an American adult print, not
Mm,
the third one. And then in Britain only the first one got an adult print, not the second. So Maria slightly changes how she goes about a few things, and I think you can tell in this one, but she just went about it a different way. You still find out about everything, but it's like as a
mhm.
past tense this happened, not like with Yelena where it's this is happening right now, it hits
Right
you
now,
over the head.
yeah, which is, I think it
Um
does make it more traumatizing to read. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can,
yeah.
that's, I mean, it's almost like she pulls back on the way
I think
she's
by this
writing
point
it.
she kind of knew because it was selling really well as a YA, the first one.
Yeah,
Um as I say, the rest of them, it wasn't even a question. So I do
but
think
not,
that was
but
cool. But
having Yelena like make it
my heart just goes
clear
out to Tula.
in the text, like making Yelena make that clear to Tula in the text, like that, and making it clear, like be telling her, like, and it's for Yelena as well, like explaining that to Tula and almost accepting it herself, that doing what you need to do to survive in situations like that, like there's nothing shameful about it,
No,
and
and
that will
it's literally
be,
one survivor to another as well. As you
yeah,
said, it never like Yelena knows it's not one and done, as you said. Like she is aware of the fact that some days will be better than others. Um, in fact, really stupid, but I was watching Criminal Minds as I do because that's what I'm binge watching, and there's literally a bit where Hotch has said to Emily, like Emily had been hiding like how bad her mental health was, and she was like, he was like, I don't need to know, just tell me if you're having a bad day so that we can support, like that's it, like just tell me. And then literally another day she just like sits opposite him and goes, it's a bad day, and like that's literally it, and he's like, okay, like that is the whole conversation, because I mean by that point obviously they know a bit more about what's going on, but just even knowing that somebody will listen and that you can have that conversation and you don't need to just be strong enough to defeat it in a day, because that's
yeah,
never going to be something like that.
yeah,
Um I just want to cuddle her like
yeah. But that'll
so
be so,
much.
like, I know not every, like there's a lot of people that won't be able to read books like this because of that, like that kind of subject can be quite triggering for people, but somebody who maybe who can and has had that experience, or might know somebody who's had that experience and maybe doesn't understand it, reading that and being able to see that represented and have that conversation, like, it will probably mean a lot and will help,
I agree.
seeing, like seeing that, like that whole conversation, because a lot of the time you see in fantasy books and books in general, you'll see the trauma, but you won't see the not the resolution. That's not quite the right
As we
word,
say,
but like the
rectification, and
healing.
that's also not the right word, but
Yeah,
yeah.
like you don't get to see the healing of it. You just get the shock factor, but you don't get the healing.
Yeah.
And even now, like I don't know if it's something that's really picked up on, but if, like I don't know if you noticed, or I don't know, like you've reread it a number of times or not, but she no longer sees what's his
Riyadh.
cuss Riyadh. Yeah, she no longer sees him. He's not there anymore.
Yep.
So that's obviously a
My
part that
girl's getting,
she's.
she's healing
I don't know
slightly.
if
It's a
that's like
slow process.
intentional. Yeah, I don't know if that's intentional on Maria's part or not, but like alongside that conversation that she has with Tula, it's almost like it's, and then obviously with what's happening with Moonman and untangling her threads and things,
I love
it's
Moon Man Man.
it's like she's put that side. It's like she's left him in City almost. Like she's
Yeah.
not City and left him in Ixia, and like she's healing from that.
I
Moonman's
love Moon
excellent.
Man. I love
He
Moon
is
Man.
one sarky ass.
He reminds me of you in all the best ways possible. Like,
I can see that.
I just love him. I remember thinking this time when I was reading the audio, like the voice that the girl does for him is just fantastic. And I just love that she's like, "You need to do this. How do I? You'll figure it out." I just love that he gives her no help. I love him so much. Um,
He almost seems like that character in like a spoof kind of thing where he like is like woo disappears and then like he's like it turns the camera frame and he's like hiding behind a tree. It's like you can't see me.
oh, I love it so much. I can totally see that.
But
Um,
I by the
I
way,
just
I was
I
so
love him
annoyed.
so much.
The reappearance of Alec. I was
Yes,
so annoyed. See when he turned up as the ambassador in disguise. I was
yes.
see for that like that solid minute when she didn't recognize him. I was like, bitch, I've done this before. But like she's like looking at his face, and she's like, who is this guy? I've never seen him before. And then she looks up at his eyes and she's like, damn it. I'm like, he has literally done this to you before.
He's
How did you like the
silly.
minute they said that somebody was coming down, like the minute, how did you think he was gonna miss this out? Like you
There's
really think he would
no there's no way that Ari and Janko would not have been there.
I mean
Like,
obviously.
I love the bit where it's also like, um, something like I think it was Cahill or one of the Cityans was like, "Oh yeah, you're." Maybe it was Leaf actually, because it sounds like a Leaf thing. Where he was like, "Oh yeah, you're hanging out with the Ixians already. You're obviously an Ixian," and they're both like, "I'm not allowed to say it, but you should come home with me." And they're just like, "We would have her back if we could, but she needs to be here because the commander is an ass." For now,
And
we
I
didn't
love
see
the
enough
fact
of him in this book. We saw a little
I do
bit.
love the fact that like I do love the fact that the ambassador like that wasn't the commander in his other persona. And Yelena's just sitting there like, how is nobody seeing this? It's like
Um, there was a really cool thought actually. Some of the other soul finders are currently rereading this, and I think it was Dema who does all the art. Um, had posted recently a theory that the commander actually had magic and he was like shape shifting between like the souls. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool. But I do love the fact that it's literally just the two souls in one body and he just
just like each of
switchy
them coming
swits.
forward.
I just love it. I love the commander so much.
Which like she's talking to me, like switches between and she's like
I just love that basically nobody knows, and yet he's just so obviously him.
Yeah.
I love
I
it
would
so
be
much.
like, see if I was Elena, I'd be like, you're gonna be so strict about magic and you're gonna do this. Really? Really?
I love by the end of this though, um, that like we're starting to realize that we maybe we need a little bit of help to make things go between City and Ixia. Like conversations can be had, wars do not need to be fought.
Yeah.
Shit is
He's
happening.
like,
Like we're aware. Like Leaf and not Leaf, Cahill in Morocco. No, not Cahill in
somebody really
Morocco.
honestly, like this is where I would be like I'm so with Valak here. Like Valak is one of the only characters in a fantasy novel that makes
Faraday.
sense to me. Like Valak and Wu Zetan, these two would solve everybody's problems. See if
Yep.
she had just let him at Cahill, so many problems would have been solved.
Yeah. I also hate the fact, I know that I'm kind of skipping around again because my brain. Um, that after everything Captain Morocco did, he got fucking beat up. Like they found him beaten to a pulp when Ferdy and Cahill ran away. Like,
That was the only
bitch.
thing. That is the only thing I don't blame Cahill for.
Oh, Morocco. I think Morocco's
Right, but
way better
you
than that.
right thing is right, devil's advocate here, because Cahill is the actual Faraday is that the actual devil. But like you are raised, told that you are the heir to this country, lied to your entire life, but given a sword that is too big, like not trained how to use it, made to look like a total arsehole in front of this
I mean, he
whole other
didn't
country,
need much of a help on that part.
but they're the ones that raised him. They're the ones that
Yeah,
gave him all those personality traits, and then literally made a fool of in front of everybody when it's
I get
revealed
that,
that
but
you're in fact
also
not
I like
the
him better
actual
than
heir to this
Cahill.
throne. You would absolutely beat the shit out of the person that
Oh
did
God,
that to
yeah,
you. Like,
yeah. But
it's the
hold
only
on, my hair's
action he
bugging
took
me.
that I'm like, fair enough. Like, I can get why you did that. That's
I
the only
I
rational thing that
get
man ever
that,
did.
but also I still like Marot better than Cahill, so Cahill
Oh, I
still
like Marok, but like, if he
gets to be.
hadn't done what he did,
Yeah, I'd
again,
be questioning.
wouldn't be having this issue.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Valak, come save us. Um,
That just needs to kill the little in the arse.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
He's so annoying. I was so glad when
So
Valak showed up again. Like the fact that he's just like sneaking around, like she's got all these guards all over this, all these guards all over the place, specifically looking for Valak, and he's just like right under the note, like just sneaking around. Like honestly, like they think,
I
and then even
do.
when they do catch him, they don't even catch him.
We also need to mention Goal, who is an absolute asshole. And we really do hate him as well. He can also take a spin on a spiny cactus.
Mm-hmm. I love how
Um,
it's like she's like says to Valak's like when he comes up, turns up dead. She's like, "Did you kill him?" And Valak's like, "No, I went to kill him, but he was already dead when I got there." And she's like, "What do you mean you went to kill him?" And he's like, "What do you want from me?" You knew
yeah,
exactly who I was when you met me. And Annie and Janko were
you
like, "Yeah,
you.
we were also on our way to kill him."
I just loved it. Honestly, that whole scene. Um,
That whole scene where she's in there and she like comes out of her body and into his and like freaks them. Oh, that was beautiful. I would have absolutely like she. I would have. Yeah, that is the level of like twisted. I absolutely would.
so how many of these characters are we combining to create Andy tonight? Because so far,
Thing is,
quite
though,
a few.
like where she like left him, like where she walked away, that's where we differ.
Yeah.
That's where I would have become Valak.
Or Kiki with Stumpy Stump Stump.
Nah, it's too fast. Or maybe not even Valak because again, too fast. Then again, he probably knows how to draw things out with different poisons. Butterfly dust would have been a great one for that. Nah, that would just take too long.
Just put
He
the two
probably knows
power
enough.
twins on it. It'll be fine. We'll get him. Power twins would have had fun too.
I just had this
Right.
image. Have you ever seen like a hare fighting?
Yeah.
It's Django.
Um, I remember when they were sparring, the bit where you hear him rhyming again, and I literally was like, "Ow!" I'm so excited that you guys are enjoying this. I know you'd obviously read the first three before, so I knew like I wasn't gonna have major issues with you like liking the world in general. But the fact that other people are now reading it and enjoying it makes me so happy because I
I'm a
have
little
no
bit like
chill.
I'm a little bit salty that Valak's quite so happy with her having so much independence because like I just love their dynamic when they're together so much. Like because even when she gets captured and she's like it's fine because Valak is out there somewhere and he's gonna rescue me, and then like at one point she's like, okay, so it would have been here by now if he was gonna be here, so I'm gonna have to rescue myself. So and then she's like, where were you? And he's like, kind of tied up at the moment. And she's like, right, okay.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't started another book because I may be away to pick up the study of magic. Um, next. I
You've
haven't
what?
read it
Sorry?
before. Are you not proud of me for waiting?
Sorry. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Kay's just messaged about food because we haven't had food
Okay,
yet.
food is important. Um, we have a few people watching. So people that are watching, if you can be bothered typing, give us some thoughts for what you think will happen in Fire Study. Because obviously, right at the end of this one, we have um Cahill and
Yeah.
Ferdy have gone, and we've got Yelena, who is now going to be an advisor to both, to try and help with everything. Because let's face it, everything could pretty much just combust at any time. Um, do you remember what happens in the next book? Because I remember some of it, but I don't remember everything.
I only remember one bit. I only really remember I don't really remember. I remember like two things that happen. One is to do with Rose. Rose?
First magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one is to do with a bonfire. There's a
Yes.
bonfire.
I can't remember anything, but I remember there being a bonfire somewhere. I don't know if that's the start, the middle, or the end. Like, I genuinely have not reread this book in about a decade. Um, so I can kind of remember the
And
overall arc.
I remember Opal. Like I remember Opal's magic.
Yes,
Or I remember something about Opal. I know there's something about Opal's but I don't remember exactly what Opal's magic does. I just know there's
something.
something about Opal's
Yeah.
magic.
Hoping we get a mix of Ilana being both in the north and the south. I want more of her with her family. I'm assuming Cahill's gonna cause trouble. This is
Obviously.
fair.
I'm also fairly sure we go more into the plains with the Sandseed tribe. I want to say.
I
I know
genuinely
we get
like.
more
I know.
nutty. I'm pretty sure we get more nutty because I have it in my head that I know more about nutty than we actually. Because I was like, when I was reading the bits about nutty, I was like, "There's no way that's all we get nutty." I know more about nutty than this, so I'm pretty sure we get more nutty.
I would love to tell you yes or no. I don't even need to pretend to not know. I genuinely don't.
Nutty is
Um.
going to be Sitia's best fashion designer. I'm telling you. Do you know who I
Oh,
want to meet?
she's
Do
gonna
you know
be
who
like the tigress.
I want Nutty to meet the seamstress from Ixia.
Oh, I You said seamstress, so I was like, yeah, tigress, but no, tigress is from Hunger Games.
Yeah. You know, the one that does Helena's, like,
Yeah,
begins with D.
Delana.
Delana. I want those two to meet. And
That would be cute.
that would be cute.
I think
I know they
they should
don't,
like
but like
swap designs so that like Delana can wear like Nutty stuff off like when she's not working.
she
That
should come down to meet. Like she should.
oh,
Those two meeting would
this
be like great. Like that would be amazing. But
this
no,
would
I'm
be very
pretty
cute.
sure we do. I'm pretty sure we get more into the Sandseed trip. I'm pretty sure we do more Moon Man. I want to say there's more Moon Man because he feels like
I hope so. I'm pretty sure there's more Leaf and Yelena as well
yeah.
because that doesn't feel complete or finished at the minute. Um, but yeah, is there anything else anybody would like to say? I think we've gone over the main characters and like what happened to their plots in this. Obviously, the next book finishes off the trilogy, so that's the end of this story arc. I know there's plenty more books to come. You're stuck with Andy and me for a while longer, like almost a year longer. um, but this does bring us to the end of a trilogy, so at least it's not like a 9-book series where you don't know the end.
Also, we will try and get we will be getting next. I'm not going to say try to. We will get next month's one sorted
Earlier and with
yeah.
more notice.
And with
The
the
last
month on the thumbnail. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Beck
no,
noticed
well, it
it.
was Becca. Becca noticed it. I didn't. I set it up.
I made it and I didn't notice.
Yeah. So we will probably have the live show in about 3 weeks' time. So it's like a week back into the month, but still giving you time to read it. I think it's like
That's
somewhere.
given I don't do my botched impression and end up in the hospital again with a swollen
Yes,
face.
yes.
So
This
far,
is.
so since I've started the new medication, I have not swollen up yet.
I don't really have anything that's. Hold on, she says, looking at a door.
Yeah.
But yes, health comes first as much as we would love to do live shows. But it will come at some point, I promise. But thank you for joining me, Andy. The next one will be on Andy's. Yes.
Sure.
And we will give you information when we have it. I promise it will not be the day or two beforehand this time. Promising.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
like I say.
It's been one of those months for both of us. You got us. We had thunks. It's fine. But with that, and I don't want the snake. I want to show you.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the whole snake thing as well. Like with the cuff thing.
Yeah. It's scary. I don't live in a forest. I live in a
But the
house.
but the cuff.
Oh, the cuff one. Yeah. I just love
About
that she then ends up with the butterfly and the snake cuff that are both the same, and everyone's like, "You got boyfriend?" And she's like, "No, don't think
and the
do."
fact that Kyle's so butthurt about it, like you were
Get your
trying to
grip,
kill her
man.
like a week ago. This is not an
Fuck
enemy
off,
snake.
man.
See, when I thought, see the first time I read it, and I thought that it was going to be like she was going to like forget about Valak and go like, when I thought it was going to be a love triangle, I was like, Maria Reese Snyder, don't you even think about it.
No. The only one that I will even consider is the Power Twins with like Marin. Maybe.
Nah, she would never.
No. The Power Twins with someone would be my only. I just don't know who would be the third. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation for somewhere
Oh, I've
else.
not seen Naren. She seems to have disappeared.
Is
She
she
doesn't like
not in
Blue Vexia
charge?
though.
No,
Yeah,
she's
she
in
doesn't like
charge
Blue
right now.
Vexia. Yeah.
If
But the Power
the
Twins,
four of
they
them
are
are all leaving, they need Marin. Like
the Power Twins. The Power Twins are a couple, and I will die on this hill. I
Yep.
will die on this hill.
It's okay. I've already told Maria this. I agree, so I can't really say anything.
They are a couple in my head. Ari is the ginormous, muscly gay man with with a heart of gold that looks like he could kill you, but is a cinnamon roll that likes to bake. Janko is the chaos gremlin bisexual. Hill,
With
dead.
ADHD that can't sit still.
Hence Rabbit Man.
And on that note, because the pair of us are probably a way to collapse, we will see you next month for the next one. Bye.